Hey! Alright, today we're going to talk about concentrations of solutions. For today, there's two types that we can talk about, and there's many more, and I'm only going to cover two types, and that is percent by mass and percent by volume. Okay, so percent by mass of a solution is equal to the mass of the solute divided by the mass of the solution times 100, where the mass of the solution, the denominator, is equal to the mass of the solute plus the mass of solution. Alright, so let's work a couple of examples. What is the percent by mass of a solution that contains 20 grams of sodium hydroxide in 100 grams of water? Well, we know that the percent mass is mass of solute divided by mass of solution. We have the mass of solute here, 20 grams of sodium hydroxide. We know the mass of the solvent, but not mass of the solution. So 100 plus 20 gives us mass of the solution times 100. So what is the percent mass when we have 20 grams of solute dissolved in 120 grams of solution? And I'm going to abbreviate solution times 100, and you put that into your calculator, and that's 20 divided by 120, which is equal to 16.67% mass by mass. Okay, so mass of solution is mass of solute plus mass of solvent. Ooh, I think I meant to put mass of solvent here. That's okay. Alright, let's look at the others. Alright, mass of ammonia. What is the mass of ammonium sulfate that is required to produce or prepare 235 grams of solution that is 15.2% ammonium sulfate? Well, we already know that the 15.2% of anything is the same thing as 15.2 grams of ammonium sulfate over 100 grams of solution, right? Because 15.2 divided by 100 is 15.2%, right? Well, we're trying to find the mass of ammonium sulfate given the mass of solution times the percent of the solution. So this is 235 times 15.2 divided by 100, and we find in order to make this percent solution in 235 grams of solution, we're going to need 35.72 grams of ammonium sulfate. Alright, let's do this next one. Calculate the mass of a 3.30% iron 3 nitrate solution that contains 42 grams of iron 3 nitrate. So we're trying to find the mass of solution given the mass of solute, and I'm going to run out of room if I don't write smaller. Should have started closer over. And we can take the same percent that we know and just flip it. So we're trying to find, we know mass of solute, we're trying to find mass of solution. And we find that that ends up being 1,270 grams of solution. So 42 times 100 divided by 3.3. Okay. That should be solvent. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so let's look at percent volume. So it's the same kind of a problem. Percent by volume is volume of solute per volume of solution, where volume of solution is equal to volume of solute plus volume of solvent times 100. Okay, so what is the percent by volume of ethanol in a solution that contains 35 milliliters of ethanol dissolved in 115 milliliters of water? So what is the percent by volume of ethanol if we have 35 milliliters divided by 115 plus 35, and you get, let's see here, 150 milliliters of solution, and ethanol is C2H5OH. Solution times 100. So 35 divided by 150 times 100, and we get a 23.3% by volume solution. So like if you buy isopropyl alcohol and you look at the label, it'll say 70% isopropyl alcohol. So that's 70% isopropyl alcohol dissolved in whatever volume of solution that they provide, because that's in water. Okay, so that's why this is not like an unusual thing to have to know, because you buy, same thing with concentration of like hydrogen peroxide. If you go and look at the label of hydrogen peroxide, it'll give you a percent concentration. Well, you could figure out what the volume of the water was in that by this process. Okay. All right. So if you have 100 milliliters of a 30% aqueous solution of ethanol, what volumes of ethanol and water are in the solution? Well, we already know that that 30% is the 30 milliliters of ethanol in the volume of the solution, okay, which we don't really know what volume of water it is. We know if you have 100 milliliters, we're trying to find volume of water plus the 30 mils. So in order for this to work out, we have 100 mils of this. Well, I should say, yes, I should say is equal to 100 mil here. We don't have to do anything fancy here. I'm just trying to make you see that we already know that 30 over 100. So 100 from 30 gives you the 70 milliliters of water. Because we have 100 milliliters of a 30% solution. So that means 30 mils is the ethanol plus whatever gives you 100. So we know it's 30 mils dissolved in 70 mils of water. Capiche? Okay. All right. And the last type. So we also can talk about like cooking, you know, and concentrations of solutions in cooking, or even corn syrup, like in a soda can. You could even talk in terms of like, you know, the concentration of corn syrup in your soda, fountain drink. Okay, so how much corn syrup, which is the solute, would be added to make water to make 200 milliliters of a 10% by volume solution? Okay, so we're trying to find the volume of corn syrup, which is our my computer went to sleep. Hold on. Okay, make sure that it's still recording. We're trying to find the volume of the solute, given that we already know the volume of the solution. And we know our 10% is the same thing as 10 milliliters of the corn syrup in 100 milliliters of, oops, sorry, I'm writing on a wood table here. 100 milliliters of solution. 10 over 100 is 10%. So then we can just, we're trying to find volume of corn syrup. So we'll just put that on top. You can also set it up as a proportion. So if you recognize that these can be solved as proportions, go right ahead. You can solve them as a proportion. Okay? So we have 200 times 10 divided by 100, and we find that we get 20 mils of corn syrup is needed. Ooh, corn syrup. Okay? But yeah, these can all be solved as proportions even if you wanted to. Alright? Okay, hopefully this helps. Bye!